Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Surely you guys realize, as an Australian, experiencing enthusiasm is fucked. I felt very uncomfortable during that moment. But thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. It's like, the main thing I want to say is, like, it's so nice to be here because I'm from Sydney, so it's nice to finally do this show in Sydney, and it's nice being able to say honestly that it's nice to be here. Because, no, you guys might not know, even when you're in a shithole, you have to say it. Like, they get real cross if you're like, yeah, it's fucking fine to be here, I guess. Like, it's the worst in Adelaide because you're like, it's nice to be here, and it's not. You know, it's not nice. It's not nice to be. I don't want to rinse Adelaide too early. It's just like, nothing happens there. Like, just no, like, Melbourne and Sydney are Australia's only two cities. The rest are just towns with a dream, you know? Like, I don't want to be part of your Make-A-Wish, Brisbane. Like, fuck off. I don't respect you. I don't. Like, I don't. Brisbane's like, we won the Olympics. It's like, you ran on a... Where were you? Where were you in 2000? Fucking nowhere, where you belong, right? But that was the thing about Adelaide. I was in Adelaide and I was trying to talk to them about catching the train, and they don't have a train. Like, turns out to have a train, you have to have somewhere to be or go. And I guess Adelaide has neither at this point. But no, because I've started catching the train again. Now, there's this one guy, he's on every train. I don't want to say exactly what this dude looks like, but I describe his appearance as crime adjacent. Everybody got him? You've seen him often chewing never gum? So this guy is on every train, right? He's on every train, does the same move on every train. When the train gets to a platform, the doors will open, the crime adjacent guy leans out the doors of the train, looking very intently up and down the platform. I don't know what he's looking for. I've never seen him find it. And then when the doors close, he's like, oh, it's the train. He gets back on the train, right? That's what happens for the crime adjacent guy. Every single platform I've ever seen him at. And I always thought it's because he was looking for a ticket inspector, which I thought was a shit strategy. Because if I was a ticket inspector and I saw a crime adjacent person, that's probably where I'd start inspecting. And I don't even have formal ticket inspector training, which I can only assume is extensive. So that's what I always thought. And then I got COVID last Christmas, like everybody, and I was in one of those in-person PCR testing queues, and there was a crime-adjacent person in front of me in the queue. Turns out the ticket inspector couldn't find him, COVID could, you know? And he did the exact same move in the COVID queue. We're in the COVID queue, the queue would take a few steps forward, the queue would stop, the crime-adjacent guy steps out of the queue, looks up and down the queue, gets back in the queue. And I was like, dude, we don't need a ticket for this. It's like, this isn't American healthcare, it's included, right? Like, it's fine. And that's when I realized that guy's not looking for a ticket inspector. What he's doing is looking for his biological father. That's why he writes his name on the train. Just in case his dad comes looking for him. On the Campbelltown line, right? Always a lot of sympathy for that joke. Nah, fuck him, he's got my phone. You know, like, come on. I think that's a fair enough target. But no, it's nice. It's nice being back in Sydney. I don't know how familiar you guys are with me, to be fair. Like, the tracksuit's usually a pretty good place to start because people look at me and they're like, does he know he's fucking red? Like, is he aware... Is he aware how red he is right now? All it is, I lived in the UK for 2 years, and this was my attempt to assimilate into British culture. That's all. That's all it is. I think I nailed it, personally, but now I do wear it back in Australia, and people look at me and they're like, you just look flammable, mate. Like, that's not going to make it through bushfire season. That's 100% polyester, right? It's just not a breathable material. But yeah, I actually left the UK December 2019, which is also known as nailing it. I don't know if you guys have heard, but since then, the UK comedy industry, pretty dead. UK dead industry, very alive. Laughter is the correct response, by the way. The weirdest response I had this one lady yell out, "Too soon!" I was like, it's still happening. You know, you can't yell too soon at a joke about a pandemic during a pandemic. That's like yelling too soon in between Towers 1 and 2 going down on 9/11. People still need to die, right? Exactly. But no, I came home to get married. I'm married. I like telling people I'm married because they're surprised by that information. You know, yeah. When I walked up here, no one was like, man, I bet he got locked down quick. He seems like a catch and a monogamy enthusiast. That's a real thing. A lot of people assume I swing. Yeah. No, they see my moustache. And that's drop some keys and some bowls, for sure. That's not raising money for anything. But yeah, actually get to wear both my parents' wedding rings. That's my dad's, that's my mum's. Relax, they're not dead, they're just divorced, right? So both rings are available. That's me in the middle, splitting them up. It's good stuff. And it's accurate because I'm an only child, you know? There you go. But yeah, we're married. Is anyone here married out of interest? I know like the 7, yeah, fucking right, whoa, yeah. 3 of you. Very modern. I love that. Fucking dude, good of you to leave Marrickville to be here. I love that. No, so what's your name, brother?
Jade. You can go with Jade, that's it.
Nah, fucking don't lose faith in me that quick. You said it real fast one time. What's your name, sir?
Jade, rhymes with dad.
Your name is Jad?
That's right.
Fuck, thank you for that rhyme. I never would have got there. Like, in 1,000 attempts, I would have been like, jazz, jats, jam. And you're like, not even close, brother. Jad. Nice to meet you, Jad. I'm Daniel, I'm the guy. Can I ask you a question, Jad?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever have a male friend come up to you and tell you something and then say, don't tell your wife? Does that ever happen, Jad?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Do you tell your wife?
Every single time.
Every single time. Fuck yeah, Jad. I mean, I've never heard that name before, but it sounds like what a guy with that name would do. Does anyone else feel that in their heart a little bit? Being like, yeah, Jad's a fucking snitch, dude. Like, I thought it was like some cliche, but no, like the second I got married, my male friend's like, hey, don't tell your wife. And I'm like, how can you still think you're above her? In the hierarchy, you know? This is a quarterly male friendship at best. Like, how can you think? Like, I've never lost a male friend and had to divide my assets, right? That's never happened. It's like, yeah, me and Jad aren't boys anymore. Now they get to visit the pub every second Tuesday. Fuck off, right? Like, what are we doing? Supervised visitation of the schnitzel? Get the fuck out of here. When someone says, don't tell your wife, I'm like, man, thank you for reminding me of the first person I'm going to tell. Because, and you know what I'm leaving in the story? The bit where you said not to tell her, right? That's staying in. You're a fucking snake in the grass, mate, and she's going to know the truth. Because the thing is, like, when a guy says that, it has not once been for my wife's benefit, right? It's never to protect her from sad information. It's never like, hey, Dan, don't tell your wife, but there is this genocide in China and we can't do anything about it. Because we owe them too much money. Don't tell your wife, you know? They just keep it on the down low. It's never that. It's they've done something fucked and don't want two people judging them at the same time. That's all it is. I love that Jad is just nodding so hard right now, being like, we have the exact same piece of shit friends. When dude said, it's like, hey, don't tell your wife. I went to a massage parlour for a happy ending, ended up paying extra for her to piss on me. Don't tell your wife. Can I borrow a towel? Sorry, Jad's wife, what's your name? Kathleen? Catherine. Fuck, I thought it was going to be weird again, and I apologise. Catherine. Fucking, there we go. That's been a character in a novel. Sorry, Catherine, have you ever had the same thing happen to you? Like a female friend say, don't tell your husband, don't tell Jad? Yeah. Did you tell him? Depends. Catherine, this isn't fucking daytime TV. What was that noise? Everyone's like, ooh. What's under my seat? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's 10 p.m, you fucking cowards. All right. What does it depend on?
No, 9 times out of 10, I probably tell.
9 times out of 10? You've counted? You've worked out a statistical probability to the breaking of trust in your relationship? I mean, Catherine, the funny thing is, I fucking agree with you 100%, dude. You gotta, that's the difference. When a lady says don't tell your husband, don't. Don't tell him. Because when women say that, it's for our benefit, you know? Like, it's to help us. When women say don't tell your husband, it's followed up by sentences like, yeah, because girth is more important than length. And you're like, whoa. Jad and I are standing there with our narrow confidence, you know, just getting skinnier by the syllable, right? We can't be too careful. Do you guys have kids? No kids? Thinking about it?
Maybe about 2 years.
That was fucking quick. No, because we're trying to have kids at the moment. Look, I don't know if you... I didn't know you had to try it. That's some... You hear that male laughter? Yeah, being like, wait, you do? Like, yeah, no, I'm like you guys. I just thought you stopped preventing it and were punished with a child. That was my genuine understanding, right? Like, I thought it was kind of like a climate change scenario, you know? Just like, if we do nothing, it's a boy. Like, honestly, I knew nothing about fertility going in, nothing at all. And I think it's because, like a lot of dudes, I got my entire sexual education from a PE teacher and a priest. 2 separate guys. Relax, it's okay. It's just that neither of those jobs requires an understanding of science, you know? Like, why did we pick them to teach kids about sex? They don't seem to have the knowledge. Think about it. It's one guy who has never had sex in his life. And a priest, right? What? How are these the best we've got? It's an important issue. We trust them. It's one guy whose knees you can always see and one guy whose knees you hope you never see, right? That is, just doesn't seem like experts. I genuinely, Jad, I don't know, like, I hate to break this news to you like this. Like, I thought, like, the first time that I came in my wife, she was going to be pregnant. Like, the first time. Because, like, I don't know if you guys are scientists, that's what you got to do. There's a lot of wife coming going on. It's important. It's important for you to come in my wife. That's the key. Like, that's... Or so it's been explained to me, right? But yeah, I thought the first time she was going to, like, be pregnant. And that means I was going to be a dad in, like, 9 months. And I was like, man, am I ready to be a father in 9 months? You know, that was, like, genuinely... I was nervous. Like, I was nervous to come in her for the first time because that's not something I'd ever done before. And before you guys think, like, man, this Christian is undercover. Like, no. I was like, fuck, he slipped through. That's amazing. No, like, in fairness, with a fucking custom tracksuit, I do look like a youth pastor. Like that. I was nervous. Like, I was nervous to come in my wife for the first time. Like, because I'd never done it. Like, don't get me wrong. I had been there. I just hadn't stayed there. And to have a kid, you gotta stay. You know, you gotta be in there like the whole time. Like, I used to treat having sex with my wife like going to the cinema. Like, when I thought the credits were about to play, I'd get out of the cinema. That's when I'd go. Because I was worried about a sequel, you know, you can't be sure. Little after credit scene, you're like, fuck, there's one coming. You know, it could happen that way. But yeah, to have a kid, you gotta stay. Like, you gotta watch the credits all the way down to the director of photography, then you can go. You know, that's kind of what you're looking for. So that was the thing. I was genuinely nervous to do it for the first time, to have intercourse, to procreate, which is what you call it when it's not for fun, right? And my wife knew that I was nervous, so the first time, we were there, right? We were like going for it. And she knows I'm nervous, so she's trying to reassure me. So we're going, and she says, "You're gonna make such a great dad." And I was like, that's a pretty early call, to be honest. Then we kept going, and she's like, "I can't wait to have a baby with you." And I was like, the credits are getting further away, maybe just... And we're getting closer and closer and closer. And just when I thought the credits were about to play, like all that muscle memory from my 20s kicked in, and I just shoved her off me and came safely in the air. Right, that's what I did, safely in the air. That way goes up, lands on me. I'm a married man now, you can't get that on the sheets, that's messy, right? God gave you a belly button for a reason, get it in there. Clean it up with a day-old t-shirt. We've only got one planet. I didn't know this when I was a younger man, but I think the only reason some women swallow is because it's the neatest option. From what I've found out, it's not actually the taste, right? That was 18 months ago. Still no baby, still no pregnancy. We've actually done the fertility test. I don't know if anyone here has ever done fertility tests for women. They're quite expensive and invasive, but for dudes, pretty sick. Honestly, probably my favourite ever test. Because our test is we have to jizz in a cup. That's the test. Sorry, I said that wrong. We get to jizz in a cup. It felt like permission, you know? When my doctor was like, can you jizz in this cup? I was like, fucking oath, mate, let's go. Honestly, don't even worry about the Medicare rebate on this one. I'm happy for you to keep 100% of the cum, right? It's all yours. Run the test twice, knock yourself out. But I'd only ever seen fertility tests in American films where you take the test at a clinic, open the door, hand it to the nurse, thank you very much. But in Australia, you actually take fertility tests at home. So I was home, and I was just about to take the test, and my wife called me, and she was like, can I be there? And I was like, why? And she's like, because I want to make sure you're doing it right. I was like, I'm doing it right. You know, like I've never been more confident about anything. In fact, sometimes you do it wrong. Like that's how right I do it. I've never studied harder for a test. I take a practice exam every time she goes to Pilates, right? Like I'm gonna nail this fucking test, lock it in. And I took the test. It was more than I thought there'd be, which felt good, you know, good start. But then it was time to deliver it to the clinic, and I'll be honest with you, I've never checked an address more. That's not one you want to get wrong. You don't want to walk through the wrong door being like, here's the cup of jizz you've been waiting for. And the guy behind the counter's like, sorry mate, this is ear, nose and throat. And you're like, oh. So close. But only one of those places is jizz appropriate. Right? I think we can all agree. For anyone who cares, the test came back fine, by the way. My wife has more eggs than most women her age. And I had a doctor look me in the eye and tell me I have an above average load. Thank you. I mean, you're really feeling like the gender clap gap on that joke, aren't you? Everyone's like, fucking get it, brother. And the people who aren't clapping are just like, holy shit, how deep is that guy's belly button? Like, my God. Must be like a fucking plunge pool. So we just got to wait. That's the thing. If the doctor's like, just wait, just keep trying. And it's very weird when you have a medical professional prescribe you sex and everyone's upset. Because I'll be honest with you, I feel like waiting is not something I've been well prepared for. I'm a 33-year-old person. Waiting is not our generation's thing. Like, have you ever ordered something online and they're like, yeah, it'll be 3 to 5 business days? And you're like, you fucking what? Give it to me tomorrow. Exploit somebody so it gets here on time, right? I'm not giving you $12 to not give to them for nothing. I'll be honest, I don't mind the wait. I don't mind the wait just because it's given me time to actually hang out with children, which I hadn't done before. Has anyone else been that person being like, I think I want kids? Have you ever spent time with them? No. Do you like other people's kids? Fuck no. Do you think you're going to like your kids? Absolutely. Why? Because they're going to have tiny little moustaches. That's why my girls are going to be beautiful, right? To be perfectly honest, I don't mind the wait. I don't mind that it's taken some time because it's given me time to actually hang out with children, which I'd never done before. Because I don't know if you guys can tell by looking at me, people don't ask me to babysit. You know, that doesn't happen. No one ever looks at me and goes, I bet he's good with kids. People look at me and go, I think he might be too good. we should probably keep the kids away from him, you know, just in case, as a precaution. So what we started doing, my wife has got me babysitting her niece and nephew. The niece is 6, the nephew's 4. And like, I didn't realise how children talk to you because they're quite mean. Like, it's not intentional, they're just very blunt in what they say. Like one time the niece pointed at my face and goes, "What's wrong?" And I was like, I didn't think anything, to be honest. I didn't know what to do, so I just tripped her and left. You know, just got to learn a lesson somehow, right? But no, we were hanging out one time, and she challenged me, well, they both challenged me to a joke competition. Now, they don't know I'm a professional joke contestant. They just thought it'd be a fun thing to do, right? They were like, "Uncle Dan, do you want to do a joke competition with us?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah. I'm gonna destroy you. I'll do my 9/11 shit, I don't give a fuck, right? When it comes to joke competitions, I play to win, you know? And I felt pretty confident going into the joke contest because the 6-year-old, she knows what jokes are, but she doesn't understand how they work, right? She'll be like, "Hey, Uncle Dan, I got a joke." And I'm like, "Oh yeah?" And she's like, "What do you call a girl in the middle of a tennis court?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "An ant." That's a joke, right? That works, that's all right, that's not too bad, nice and clean. And then I'll be like, "Okay, I've got one for you. What do you call a boy with a shovel on his head?" And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Doug." And she's like, "That's shit." And I'm like, "Oh." I mean, she's 6, she didn't say that shit. She was like, "Shit joke, cunt." And I was like, "Oh, all right, man." But then she was like, "Uncle Dan, I've got another one for you." And I was like, "All right." And she's like, "What do you call a girl with a shovel on her head?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "An ant." And I'm like, "No, there needs to be a connection, right, between the setup and the punchline." Which is obviously a criticism you could level at quite a few Australian comedians. But let's not get into that, you know? Let's just move on from that. So I knew I beat her, right? And I knew I beat the 4-year-old as well, just because he's a fucking moron. Seriously, he's just a dumb kid. Like, I saw this guy get off a trampoline face first. He didn't fall. He got off face first. He was on the trampoline, looked at the ground and was like, "That's where I want to go." And just fucking all the way. And like, it's not just that, he's got a stutter. Come on, it's over. It's a joke contest, he's got a stutter. I don't know if you guys realise, in this business, delivery's everything, right? Like, let's be realistic. So we're just about to start the joke contest, and the niece is also hosting the joke contest, so she's like, "Before we start, I need to warm up the crowd." And I was like, "Good instincts." And then she points at me and she goes, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Sydney." And she goes, "Great, the crowd's warmed up." Have you ever had your career reduced to one sentence? By a fucking 6-year-old who just nailed the brief? Honestly, I was so rattled, I pulled out of the joke contest. I was like, "I'm having an existential crisis, you can get fucked." I left the playground, the other parents were relieved. But no, they do surprise me because like I don't know any of the rules when it comes to children. Like I make all the rookie mistakes. Like the niece wanted a Coca-Cola late one night and I was like, "Absolutely." No, because in my head I was like, "Man, it's a Friday, you're not drinking? Good for you." You know, like everyone needs a night off, right? It's just good for you. But the thing that got me was how she like consumed the Coca-Cola. She had like half of it immediately, like chugged it, then just left the rest in the fridge for later. And we were playing in the backyard and it's mid-play. She goes, "Sorry, Uncle Dan, I'm actually running out of energy. I just need to go inside for a sec." And she walks in the house, opens up the fridge, has a sip of Coke, comes back out and starts telling me about a small business idea. And I was like, "Man, that is fucking mature," you know? She's only 6, but that is almost exactly how I use Coke. Turns out as you get older, Coke just gets more expensive and less pure. Just like life. But the main question they ask is if you want a boy or a girl. That's like question number 1. And I'm always like, "Look, as long as the kid's white, I don't really care." And I know that sounds crook, but you got to remember, I'm white, my wife does Pilates. Pretty sure that's how it works, you know? Like, I'm not a PE teacher, but I'm pretty sure. Like, the problem with that is we're also both Australian, which means we're making more white Australians. And I don't know about you guys, I've never thought we needed more of those. At no point in my life have I looked around and been like, fuck, if only there were 2 more white Australians here. I've never been on a pub crawl in Europe and thought, if only. Prague needs more white Australians. I've never been on a Jetstar flight to Bali and thought, if only. There's just not enough people saying cunt at 9 a.m. You know, I feel unsafe, you know? It's no good. Look, I don't want to be too negative about Australia. I think, like, there's a lot of good things about Australia, but, like, we're weird. We're a weird country in the sense that we like that it's hard to come here. We enjoy that about Australia. Like, look at the national pride we took in bouncing Novak Djokovic. We fucking love that. He turns up and he's like, I'm the #1 tennis player in the world. And we're like, fuck off, cunt. Yeah, it turns out we've got a court you can't win in. Off you go. I hope you're better on clay than the Court of Appeal. Fuck off. And he was white, which was a nice change. You know? The old victimless crime. No, like, it's a weird part. Like, it's a weird part of Australian culture. Like, we like that it's hard to come here. Like, we enjoy that about ourselves. Like, is anyone here from overseas? Where you from, brother? England. Wow, let's get a real one. Where you from, brother? Syria. Fuck. There you go. Syria. What's your name, brother? Sam. Nice to meet you, Sam. I'm Daniel. I'm the guy. Sam, was it easy for you to come to Australia?
Not really.
That's fantastic. Look at everyone in the back being like, great. Everything's going great. No, it's a real part of our culture. Like, it's a real thing. We like that it's hard to come here. We love it when people choose to come here from overseas. Like, Sam said he's from Syria, and everyone's like, fuck yeah, dude, doing all right. But we want you to want it somehow. Like, you meet someone from overseas, like, holy shit, you're from Brazil, that's fantastic. Was it difficult for you to immigrate to Australia? And they're like, yeah, a lot of paperwork, a lot of interviews, I'm very lucky to be here. And as Australians, secretly, in our heads, we're like, good. You better fucking want it, mate. Oh, you want to stay? Then pick some strawberries, get it done. I hope they're the strawberries with the needles in them. You better want it, right? You better want to be here. We're oddly proud of our racism in this country. Other countries are embarrassed. We're like, nah, cunt, we're good at it. When we do it, it's entertaining. That's why we put it on TV. That's all Border Patrol is. That's just Australian racism filmed and shown to other countries as a warning. That's why every episode starts with some guy trying to bring fruit through customs, and the officer's like, nah, mate, you can't bring it now. You got to pick it later if you want to stay. To bring it now would be cheating, which is un-Australian. It was funny, man, because, like, I lived in the UK for a couple of years, and you guys were always asking me, they were like, was it easy for you to come to the UK? And I was like, yeah. Like, super easy, you know, like, so easy. Like, all you need as an Australian to immigrate to the UK is a photo. Like, not even of you, they don't mind, you know, they don't check, you're just through the gate. And they're like, well, how is that fair? Like, why is it easy for you guys to come to the UK, but it's hard for us to go to Australia? And I'm like, well, if you think about it, my white skin is kind of a receipt. This is clearly the original store I was purchased from. So if I want a refund, that's my right, Your Majesty. That was the thing, I lived there for 2 years, never had asthma or any of the allergies I have in Australia, and it was only when I left, I was like, oh, that's because I was supposed to live here. Hay fever isn't an allergy to pollen, it's karma for white people being where they shouldn't. That's what that is. And it might sound silly, but you never had an Aboriginal mate ask you for a Zyrtec, have you? It's never happened. No, look, I had to go at us for being a racist country, and we definitely are. But, like, I think we're trying to improve. I really do think Australia's trying to improve. Look at Australia Day, great example, right? That's changed a lot in my lifetime. It used to be, hey, day off work, 100 songs to count down, nice. Whereas now it's that day that we're like, oh, were we not always here? You know, I still have very fond memories of Australia Day. Like, I actually met my wife at an Australia Day party, And before you guys think I'm a piece of shit, relax. It was in 2011, before we'd done anything wrong. And it was overseas. You know, you can still celebrate Australia Day overseas. It's fine. That's a loophole. Think about it. There's a country where you don't belong, you turn up, ruin their day. Is that not the spirit of Australia Day? No. And that's the thing. Like, I'll be honest. I like the change. Like, I prefer the new Australia Day because I used to have to feel weird about being a white Australian all year. Now I can get that done in one day. So much more efficient. I wake up January 26th, I'm like, I'm so sorry, here's a black tile. Go to bed knowing I'm part of the solution. Wake up January 27th, I'm like, wait, you're from Syria, fuck off home. You know, I've done everything I can. I've done everything I can. There's only one group who still celebrates Australia Day, on Australia Day, and it's not racists, it's not Bogans, it's recent immigrants. Yeah, turns out you don't get to call it Invasion Day on a bridging visa. Doesn't work like that. Might want to learn Don Bradman's average before you complain, mate. Otherwise, I can think of 99.94 reasons it's not getting renewed. No, obviously, I agree with change the date. Like, I think Indigenous people are a huge part of our country and they should be able to celebrate our national holiday. I just don't know how it's going to work because they don't want to celebrate on January 26th because we were cunts to them on that day, and I just don't know if there's a day that we weren't. Like, maybe February 29th at a push? You know, like, maybe. That's the best solution I can come up with so far. It would mean one Australia Day every 4 years, but fuck, it'd go off. You know, think about it. 400 songs to count down. 4 years worth of tins. We get so lit, we'd invade New Zealand. We'd do what needs to be done. Take the South Island 2024, North Island 2028. On the day they surrender, that's when we celebrate Australia Day, going forward. Look, I'll be honest with you, the whole we can't just create a new public holiday lost a lot of momentum when the Queen died. They're like, we can't just create a new public... Wait, she's dead? Thursday. You guys like Thursday? You like Thursday? Thursday week. Seems respectful. Wait, just double checking. It was a white lady who died? Excellent. Look, I don't want to come across like I'm preaching about any of this shit. I just try to talk about it because I think it's important. Like, I fuck up all the time. You know, like I was driving an Aboriginal mate of mine through Sydney and we drove past the Aboriginal flag flying in someone's backyard, and I did what I think anyone would do in that situation, which was nudge him and point at the flag, right? I was like, mate, you're going to fucking love what's going on over here. And he's like, what is it? I'm like, the flag. Look, you're going to miss it, right? And he's like, Dan, did you just nudge me and point at the Aboriginal flag because I'm Aboriginal? And I was like, yes. And you missed it. And that's not my fault. And he's like, Dan, you realise you can point wherever you want? It's all mine? Look, which is a good point, but a basic misunderstanding of flags. Right? I think we all do. But no, he's a comedian as well. So I was like, dude, that's so funny. You got to tell this story on stage. And he did. And when he said it, no one laughed. Yeah, because when an Aboriginal person says that shit, you're all a bunch of guilty fucking white people, aren't you? But when I say it, you're like, Dan's the guilty white person. I think he's personally responsible for colonisation. So he was like, dude, the joke's not working for me. Do you just want to take the joke? And I was like, well, I guess we already took the land. You know, it just seems like less of a big deal. But I will like to show some progress and take a second to acknowledge Dane Simpson, the traditional owner of that joke. How good does it feel to be part of the solution, guys? Have you guys thought about boy or girl? You thought about it at all? Human? Fuck, you are from Marrickville. No, it's a good answer. I mean, I'm not even there yet, you know. I've thought about it. I think girl. I think I prefer to have girls, but that's just because it's important to me to earn more money than my children. That's all. And it just increases the odds, right? It just increases the odds. I'm in the arts. It's on a knife's edge. I mean, I actually, to be honest, I agree with you. I think it's an outdated question, boy or girl. Like, it's weird. Like, those aren't the only two options anymore. Do you find it weird that gender reveal parties have become popular just when gender's never been less permanent? It's like every gender reveal party's a cliffhanger if you think about it. Yeah, this is the end of season 1, but wait till you see season 8. Like, we got a whole new cast. Like, I don't know. I feel sorry for old people, especially with the gender stuff. We get very angry at old people for not understanding there's more than 2 genders now. But you got to remember, like when my dad was growing up, there was only one gender. Men. And then in the 1970s, Jermaine Greer invented women. Remember? Another great Australian invention, right? And now there's more than 2. Of course they can't handle that. Of course old people can't handle that there's more than 2 genders. Old people can't handle when there's more than 2 bins. Have you ever seen anyone over the age of 60 approach 3 bins? Too many bins. They're walking up being like, rubbish, classic, recycling, okay. Compost. This is a wooden fork. It's kind of all of them. But also none of them? Like, I think it must be rubbish because I don't want to use it again. But it seems to identify as recycling. It's got this little triangle. And how could it not be compost? It's made of fucking wood. Never would have happened with plastic. Life was easier back then. Throw it out if I felt like it. Weather unaffected. Then they just throw the fork on the ground. Go home and vote family first again. You know, because it's easier. It's easier to litter than to learn. Why are they called family first? Because they choose who to fuck. They choose their family. First. No? You guys don't like a good Tasmanian Christmas? Fuck off. I did that joke in Launceston and they bloody loved it. They were banging their heads together. It was awesome. It was awesome. But no, I find it weird. I think the reason people don't engage with the gender stuff as much as they should is because they're afraid of being wrong. I think everyone's so afraid of being wrong at the moment. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. There's just something wrong with staying wrong, right? You ever meet those people who are like, yeah, I totally understand non-binary people, mate. Compost, got it. And you're like, whoa. Not the message of that joke. But I mean, women would be recycling because they create new things. It's not important. Anyway. But they're like, yeah, I understand the non-binary stuff. I'm just not going to use the preferred pronouns. And I'm like, that's a bit of a weird move for you, Dazza, because you've got a preferred proper noun, mate. The only time you're Darren is when you're awaiting trial. And he's like, yeah, but I just can't do it because that person wants to be called they, them. And I'm like, fucking spot on. And they're like, yeah, but there's only one person. I can't identify one person as 2 people, mate. Like, it's just no good for the English language. And I'm like, Dazza, I'm so sorry. I didn't realise yous were linguists. I think the reason we're afraid of being wrong is because of technology. I think it's because we've got access to like all the information all the time now. And we're in such a weird spot with technology because we've never trusted it less, but we've never relied on it more. Like, not trusting technology is a new thing, by the way. Like, back in the day, no one was like, I think my abacus is listening to me. Gathering secrets for Galileo. But yeah, there's 2 groups in this room. One group thinks they know the way better than Google Maps. And the other group would not know how to get home from here without Google Maps. You ever meet those people? Is it they know the way better than Google Maps? They're like, yeah, that's not the way. That's not the way. And you're like, yeah, I know, it's the suggested route based on current traffic conditions. There's another one with a similar ETA. Who cares? And they're like, yeah, but it's not the way. It's not the way I've always gone. The way was handed down to me by my father. And his father before him. And his father before him, because women hadn't been invented yet. My dad's one of those people. He thinks he knows the way. He's been divorced twice. Coincidence? No. And of course, men always get divorced a second time because after the first divorce, they're like, probably wasn't me. Let's run this back with a control group. Look, I'm the same. I don't like to think that technology's figured me out. I think that's it. You know, you ever open up Google Maps and it tells you when you're going to get to the destination, you're like, no, that's not when I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there 10 minutes before that or else I'm late. And then you get there exactly when it says and you're like, fuck. But we don't want the algorithm to know that it's figured us out, you know? Like, there are dudes in this room who are getting hair loss commercials on their phone and they think they're not losing their hair. It knows. Your phone knows. You know how I know that? Because it's got 1,000 photos of your fucking head in chronological order. Just watching this guy get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I get it, I'm the same. I don't like to think technology's figured me out. I'm on TikTok, which is embarrassing to admit because I'm in my 30s, but you got to corner that Chinese comedy market somehow, right? You got to get in there. And this is what TikTok shows me, right? This is what I see on my TikTok feed. All I see, and by the way, what's important to know, all I follow, stand-up comedy, fitness gurus, shut up, and sports highlights. That is all I follow on TikTok. This is what TikTok shows me. Very attractive women dancing. How does it know? Because I'm not upset. How does it know? I've never clicked like, I've never commented, I've never followed, I've lingered. But that's it, all I see, video after video, very attractive women. Even, I'll try to throw it off the scent, actively. I'll go around, the other week, I just went on, typed in book club, just looked at video after video, liking, commenting, seems like a great read. Went back the next day, now it was just the same chick, but with war on this tit and peace on this one. I was like, how do they know? How have they figured us out? I'm just a heterosexual man who would think we like tits. And look, sometimes I'll give in. I'll jerk off to these videos in 60-second increments. And when I finish jerking off, I'll swipe up and it's an ad for Uber Eats. And I'm like, fucking TikTok, spot on again. With all this jerking off, I've had no time to cook. And look, I don't want to seem like some cynical guy about like Australia and technology. Like, the reason I've started thinking about this stuff is because I'm trying to have a kid. I genuinely never thought about the world really until I started trying to have a kid, because that's where the kid goes. Everyone's like, do you want a boy or a girl? It's like, I don't give a fuck about that if the world's like this, right? Like, I just don't think you think about your current situation until you're introducing something new to it. Like, think about the boys, right? Jad, you got the boys. They're the same boys you've known since you were 13. You stopped individually evaluating them when you were 16, and you don't think about it. Then you introduce your partner to the boys, and she's got some fucking follow-up questions, you know? I remember the first time I introduced my wife to the boys, she was like, what is the deal with Steve? And I was like, oh, I guess he's kind of a criminal? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know 100%. She's like, wait, like a sex pest? And I'm like, oh, no, that's Jim. Jim's the sex pest. Steve will steal your stuff, not your innocence. You know, it's very different. And she's like, and what's Shit Tim's story? And I was like, what? She's like, why is he called Shit Tim? And I'm like, I don't know. I think we had 2 Tims. That's the best explanation I've got, right? I have a guy in my life called Shit Tim, and when people are like, why? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to sound too negative about Australia. You know, I said we're racist, and we are. But we're less racist than we were. Still racist, but less. Like, think about it. In Australia, people just used to get bashed for being Asian. Now, we criticise their driving from inside Japanese-made cars. That's progress. It's not a solution, but it is progress. And when it comes to race, I think you should not seek a final solution. I think incremental steps are the key. If you rush, mistakes get made. That's like, I think about racism. I think about racism in Australia like Rove McManus on television. There was more. Now there's less. Probably still too much, right? That's... I don't know, that's a real thing that I've found growing up in Sydney. I don't know if you guys have the same experience. Like, there's a lot of hatred towards Asian people in this country. Like, one sentence I heard a lot was, wow, there are a lot of Asian people here. And it wasn't said with the tone of a nice surprise, you know? And I just never understood. It's like people being like, wow, there are a lot of Asian people here. I'm like, yeah, for a country in Asia, not that many, you know? Probably not enough, if anything, because occasionally a white guy will bring me sushi. We're going to need one more Asian. Actually, what if that guy gets sick? 2 more Asians, please, right? I just don't get it. Like, Australia has this weird thing where we think we're in Europe. You ask any Australian, where are you? Fucking just next door to Poland, mate. Like, not a big deal. Just like Asia, yeah, that's fucking heaps far away. Just pop on over to Prague for a sec. You know, it's weird. We've got country dysmorphia. I don't know if you guys have seen a globe. We're fucking heaps far away from Europe, very close to Asia, yet for some reason we compete in the Eurovision Song Contest every year. What are we doing there? It's like, after Bulgaria, here's Australia. What? That's a 22-hour flight. The fuck are we doing there? We're in Asia, but we don't like to admit it. I find it weird. Like, there was always a lot of hatred towards Asians. I always heard that growing up, and I just never understood. It's just like, why would you hate Asians? Like, the other races, sure, but Asians. What did they ever do to anybody? And that was just wasn't my experience growing up. And I just kind of decided, I was like, I'm not going to echo that. You know, I'm just not going to criticize them. And I think it's a good instinct. I think a lot of people in this room from my generation probably have the same instinct. But I do think it makes it easier for China to get away with that genocide I mentioned earlier. Remember that genocide? The current one? That I mentioned 40 minutes ago, and you guys are like, fuck, I hope he doesn't mention that again, right? Because we don't do anything about the genocide in China, because we're like, it's all the way in Asia. It's so far away. We got to help out with this European war around the corner, you know? Ukraine, weapons are coming. They're stopping over in Singapore right now, but they'll be there soon. You know, there's no direct flight just yet. It's just, I did this show, and I mentioned the genocide in China, and I got a review saying that I really lost the crowd during the Uyghur genocide material, which was not inaccurate, let's be honest. It was not inaccurate, but the guy spelt Uyghur, W-E-G-A. That's a certain level of ignorance. W-E-G-A. What are they, part of a fucking cheese dynasty? What are we doing? Yeah, they're Muslim. Are they Sunni or strong and bitey? What is going on? We can't even spell the name. Call me crazy. I don't think in 1943 any journalists were calling each other being like, is Jewish with a J or a G? I just want to get this right for print. And it's awkward. I get it. We don't want to criticize other countries anymore. Like, but we hear about concentration camps in China and we're like, well, they are a studious people. You know, let's not jump to conclusions. And there's slavery happening in the world as well. In the Middle East, there's slavery. We all know about it, but instead of engaging with it, we're just like, man, 6-star hotel. So cheap. How'd they do that? How do they add a star but make it cheaper? Man, the Australian dollar's fucking great, you know? I love that. You don't think about it because you're used to it. And like, this is the thing, I've never thought about myself as a political person, but I'm going to come out and say it. I think genocide and slavery are bad. Sorry, it's so funny to me that audiences are like, should we clap that? I think I need more information. That's the thing. There's genocide and slavery happening and we say nothing. At the very least, shouldn't we criticize them for cultural appropriation? Because I don't know if you guys remember, that's kind of our thing. Genocide and slavery. We might not have invented it, but we made it our own. You guys are killing Muslims? Man, we love killing Muslims. We did that in the Crusades and earlier this year. Like, I get it. I get the reluctance to not tell other cultures how to live anymore because we're not always or often right. But I think at one point we've got to be like, hey, China, the Middle East, we've all been there. And no one is arguing with the short-term benefits. But this is going to cost you in the long run. Because in 200 years, the slaves are going to get free and they're going to make movies about you. And you are not going to come off well. And I know you're thinking, wait, how are these slaves going to finance these films? Well, it turns out there's this other group that people tried the genocide and they have some connections to the film industry. Yeah. Is now a good time to mention I'll be selling merch? I hear guilt's a powerful tool. No, I do have one item of merch. It's a face mask with my face on it. I ordered these when I thought COVID was going to be kind of more of a thing earlier this year. And I told the graphic designer one thing. I was like, I just want this to look exactly like my face. And he was like, not a problem, mate. And then he sent me 250 of these. 250 of these. This is what my face looks like, apparently. It's when my niece was like, what's wrong with your head? Fucking heaps. Fucking heaps is wrong with my head. I'm mostly moustache. Now, you can get those after the show. For $15, they're very cheap because I got them made in a Chinese factory. Let's not pretend morality isn't tricky. But no, I do really appreciate you guys coming out. I'll get out of here real soon, but I wanted to thank everybody, but I just can't because it's fucking two dudes wearing shorts in the front row. You know, it's no good, brother. Why can I see your knees right now? You know, this is the arts. Why am I looking at your quad? It's pretty thick, maybe he cycles, I don't know. Could be good. That's the thing, it's just a weird thing of mine. Like, I was in Europe for 2 years, never saw another man's knee doing comedy. But in Australia, every second show, fucking here it is, right? Below the knees is shin, other side of that's a calf, usually covered in a tattoo from a culture the dude doesn't belong to. It's like, oh, that's a koi fish. Do you like Asia? Nah, I can't. Love the pokies. Can't get enough. My first son's called The Feature. And I'm like, but you just told me you hit the feature last night. Yeah. I was away for 2 years. In that time, something happened. Either tattoos got cheaper or Bogans got richer. And personally, I hope it's that tattoos got cheaper. You know, I don't want Bogans to have any more money. I don't like them. I don't like Bogans as a group. I don't. And I know when I mention this, everyone always gets tense because they're like, what if they're here? They're known to be quite aggressive. Is that why he wears the tracksuit? Just fucking just get out the back door? They're not here. It's a safe space. Bogans don't pay money to listen to another person talk. It's not their thing. They didn't do it in school. They're not going to start now, right? Yeah, they go to church, but they pay at the end. Different system. So I just want to point out, if you are here and you're thinking, shit, I think I'm a Bogan. Just remember, you're thinking, that's it. You're done. You're fine. You're fine. You're safe. Everything's all right. I just don't like them. I don't like they kind of dominate Australia's national identity. We're a complex country. We're full of white people. We belong to black people. We're in the middle of Asia. And instead of dealing with that, Bogans are just like, what if I cut my hair short here and kind of leave it long here? And I'm like, how's that going to help? And they're like, vroom, you know, just fucking straight out of there. I just don't like them. I just don't. I don't like that they represent us overseas, but we deserve it because we literally fucking elect them. Scott Morrison was our Prime Minister for a bit. That guy was the King Bogan, right? You guys don't think Scott Morrison's a Bogan? He wore a surf cap and he shit himself in McDonald's. That's Bogan behaviour. That's 2 from 2, right? Cam Smith won the British Masters golf with a fucking mullet. Dude, you play golf. Get a proper haircut, right? Daniel Ricciardo used to celebrate winning a Formula 1 race by drinking champagne from his shoe. You earn £22 million a year, cunt. You can afford a glass, right? What are you doing? Who are you pretending to be? I know it's a bit rich of me to say that, dressed like the guy on the train. Like, I get it. I get it. I just don't like them. I don't like that we treat them like this marginalised group in Australia. Why? Bogans are winning. Bogans are on top in this country. Bogans win every FM radio competition. They're undefeated. Every time the secret sound goes off, it's a Bogan. Because the secret sound's never been someone doing the Sudoku, has it? We have to buy meat. Bogans win it by the tray. Bogans win the state of origin every year. They are undefeated. Whether New South Wales or Queensland win, Bogans are like, we won. Right? I just don't like it. I just don't like they're on top. I don't like they take over everything they touch. Look what Bogans did to Christianity. Bogans went to a Catholic church, looked at the stained glass windows and were like, I don't know about this, seems a bit woggy. And the hymns, they're in Latin, that sounds foreign, don't trust it. Why don't we move church to a stadium? And we'll just go in there every Sunday and sing team songs to the Lord. That's all Hillsong is. That's just Bogan church. They're just in there every Sunday being like, cheer, cheer the Jesus the Christ. Honour the boat at low and high tide. Lift that noble 4x high. Shake down the moorsies from the sky. Whether the odds be long or short, chuck on the multi, you'll win overall. While our loyal sons go marching down to the TAB. Woo! Guys, you're clapping. That's a fucking hymn to them, you know? That's a hymn. At the end of that song, they're like, in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, the original multi, right? Like... And that's the thing, like, we worry about Bogans. Why? They hate us. Bogans hate me, they hate you too. You know how I know that? No one in this room has ever had anything positive yelled at them from a speeding car window. No car's ever sped past me being like, fund the arts, right? It's never happened. You think Bogans give a shit about climate change? Of course not. Oh, the ice caps are going to melt, sea levels are going to rise. Sick, that's just more room for me to jet ski. And less room for people to immigrate to this country. I get in trouble for doing this joke because people think I'm making fun of poor people. I'm not. Being Bogan has nothing to do with any of that. You can be rich, you can be poor, you can be black, white, Asian, whatever. Being Bogan is a choice. Being Bogan is believing deep in your heart that knowledge is gay. And that might sound silly, but it fucking explains it, doesn't it? That's why they can never pick up a book, because they're like, what if I pick up a man next? You know, you can't... How am I going to tell my dad? And yeah, it's been 18 months trying to have a kid. And people asking me if I want a boy or a girl. And like, you know, I said I wanted a white kid. Obviously I was kidding. It'd be great if we conceive naturally. But if we got to adopt, that's fine. I'll adopt a Chinese kid. I don't give a fuck, because guess what? Not every Chinese person is responsible for the actions of the People's Republic of China. I said I wanted girls. I'll cop a boy if I have to. If I have a non-binary kid, I'll learn about the bins. Right? I'll figure it out. Be very handy to know. There's only one fucking kid I can't have. Can't have a Bogan. Dude, I can't. I just can't. I can't be responsible for raising that. You know? I think I'd give it to the age of 12. No, that's when you know. That's when you know if you got an Alex or a Xander. Comes home from school with his fucking starter mullet, you know? Rip curl pencil case turned inside out. Started spelling Xander with just so many fucking X's, right? He walks in the kitchen, he's like, reading's fucked. And I'm like, oh, good. He's like, what's going on, Dad? And I'm like, don't call me that. And I'll be like, look, son, I just don't think it's going to work out with you and this family. Why don't you come with me down to the river for a sec? And I'd take him down to the river, and I'd be like, he's like, what are we doing here? And I'm like, look, son, I just don't think it's going to work out for you in this family, but I want you to be happy, so I've gotten you a gift. It's a tiny little jet ski. Go out on the river, son. Don't stop going till you hit the open ocean. Then you're going to keep going till you hit Bali. That's where you'll find your people. You're going to love Bali, son. Nobody reads. You don't need to wear pants. And you can look around and say accurately, wow, there are a lot of Asian people here. I've been thinking about this a lot over the last year and a half, and I realised I never asked my wife what she answers when people ask her if she wants a boy or a girl or anything about the kids. And I went up and I was like, what do you say? And she's like, oh, I just say none of that matters. I just want them to be happy. It's a better answer. And it was just weird because, like, it is a better answer, but I just never thought to say it because, like, you know, I can be involved in making a white kid. Like, I can hope for a gender. I can hope they're not Bogan, but happy? That kind of seems out of my control. I don't think I can teach something how to be happy. I don't know if you guys have been hanging out with me for the last hour. Happy's not really my thing. We were having a sick time talking about jizz. And then it took a fucking turn, didn't it? I think that's why I hate Bogans so much. Because they're just so visibly fucking happy. They're having a sick time. Bogans are loving it. They don't give a shit. Have you ever seen a Bogan spend $20 on meat raffle tickets to win $12 worth of shit meat? And they walk out of the club being like, winner. They're so happy. They don't need anything to be happy. They're just happy. And it really fucked with me. So I messaged the boys, got in the group chat, and only shit Tim got back to me. He's often available. And then we went down to the pub, and he was like, so Marcus, what's up? And I'm like, well, Mary's still not pregnant. And he's like, yeah, man, I keep telling you, you got to stop putting it in her ass. And I was like, Tim, this isn't a fucking Google Maps issue, champion. But I did just remember why we call you shit Tim. But he's like, what's up? And I'm like, well, you know how I've been telling everybody that I would like a white girl for a child? And he's like, yeah, I thought that was a bit weird. And I was like, yeah. Well, Mary just wants a happy kid. And he's like, that seems like a better answer. And I was like, yeah, but I never even thought to say it because, you know, I just don't understand how any kid could have Mary as a mother and be unhappy. I mean, I've got her as a wife and I'm getting there. And he was silent for a sec and he was just kind of like... I'm like, shit, Tim, what are you doing? And he's like... So that's beautiful, mate. And I'm like, shit, Tim, are you crying at the pub? And he's like, yeah. Don't tell your wife. That's it. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Sydney. Thanks for waiting with me. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.